Hi, dear students. Welcome back to one short series. It's me, Dr. Ansari from KNA. Today, we are going to discuss human health and disease. You know, what is the definition about health? A state of complete well-being. That means a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. Definition about health: a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. Okay, that's the definition about health. Anyway, health is affected by some factors. Health is affected by some factors such as maybe genetic disorders, due to genetic disorders, or infection or changing lifestyle or lifestyle disorder. Okay, first one, the genetic disorder. Genetic disorder means that is deficiency with which a child is born, deficiency or defect that is acquired from inherit from parents. Okay, that is genetic disorders. Then infection, that is infected by pathogen, microorganism. Okay, infection. And lifestyle disease. That means what are the food we take or water we take, or we give rest to our body, or exercise, or food means balanced diet we are taking or not. Okay, exercise we are giving, doing or not, rest we are giving or not. That's why we can call the lifestyle disease. That we can call the lifestyle. So these are the things which affect health or causing disease, a genetic or infectious disease or lifestyle disease. Okay, yeah. Anyway, there was a belief related to disease that was called as a good humor hypothesis. Good humor hypothesis. What was the good humor? So that's why I believe, according to Hippocrates and also Ayurveda, Indian Ayurvedic system, change in humor causes diseases. Or black bile person who have fever. Okay, according to reflective thought, black bile person would have fever. Anyway, you know, that is William Harvey. William Harvey, discovered circulatory system, blood circulatory system. He disproved the good humor hypothesis. Okay, he checked a patient that is that a patient he affected fever. Okay, fever patient. He checked by his own thermometer. Okay, he checked that patient with thermometer, and then he disproved the good humor hypothesis. Okay, he disproved good humor hypothesis. Anyway, by the in case of biology, or based on biology, we can call it mind influence. Mind influence. Mind. Mind influence through neural system. Neural system. Mind influence through neural system, and endocrine system. Endocrine system, our immune system. Immune system. Thus, immune system maintain our health. Immune system. Immune system. Okay, so that's, keep in mind that mind and body or immune system connection. Mind influence through neural system, and endocrine system, our immune system. Okay, immune system maintain our health. Then diseases categorize two type. That means infectious disease and non-infectious disease. And the meaning irukku. Name meaning. Okay, infectious disease. And infectious, so that are caused by pathogen. Pathogen that are caused by pathogen and are spreading from infected person to non-infected person. Can spread from infected person and to non-infected person, healthy person. Okay, non-infectious disease and that are not caused by pathogen. Not caused by pathogen. Not caused by pathogen. Okay, not caused by pathogen, and not spreading from one person to that is healthy person. Okay, so example, infectious disease, common cold, Common cold is example for infectious disease. And non-infectious disease, diabetes mellitus. Okay, and the மாதிரி cancers, non-infectious disease. So infectious and a non-infectious disease. Okay, wow. Then in this chapter we have to discuss different type or diseases like infectious disease like bacterial disease, viral disease, protozoal disease, helminth disease, and one fungal disease. Okay, not that much detail. Very briefly, last year, from the disease only 2 questions came last year NEET examination. So that's why very important. Anyway, very briefly, we have to go through this. Typhoid. First one, typhoid one, that is bacterial disease. Bacterial disease. Okay, bacterial disease, typhoid. Okay, pathogen yaare? Pathogen Salmonella typhi. Pathogen caused by Salmonella typhi. Okay, this pathogen mode of transmission and infected part. Mode of transmission, this pathogen generally enter to small intestine. Infected part in small intestine through contaminated food and water. Okay, contaminated food and water. Symptoms enna? Symptoms: sustained high fever, 39 to 40 degrees Celsius. Sustained high fever, weakness, stomach pain, constipation, headache, and loss of appetite. Loss of appetite. Okay, well, loss of appetite. And severe case, what will happen? Intestinal perforation and may leads to deaths. Okay, so that's about the typhoid. Typhoid. And also there was a history related to typhoid. One lady was there. Her name was Mary Mellon. Mary Mellon. Okay, Mary Mellon. She was a professional cook, but many years she was a carrier of typhoid. She spread typhoid. So that's why her nickname is Typhoid Mary. Typhoid Mary, just keep in mind that. Anyway, test for typhoid, that is called a Widal test or Widal test. Okay, Widal test. Test for typhoid, that is Widal test. Keep in mind that Widal test. Okay, and pneumonia. Next, bacterial disease. Bacterial disease, pneumonia. Okay, pathogen yaare? Pathogen streptococcus pneumonia and Haemophilus influenza. Streptococcus pneumonia and Haemophilus influenza. Mode of transmission eppadi? A healthy person acquire infection by inhaling droplet infection, aerosols or droplet infection by an infected person, or even sharing glasses and utensil with an infected person. Okay, by sharing glasses, that is glasses and utensil with the infected person. And the மாதிரி spread பண்ணுவாங்க. Okay, droplet infection. And which part? Infected part எங்கே? Infecting part alveoli. Okay, lungs, air-filled sac-like structure, that is called alveoli. Infected part the alveoli. Okay, alveoli of lungs. Symptoms and typhoid. Pneumonia symptoms and that is fever, chill, cough, and a headache. Fever, chill, cough, and a headache. In severe case, what will happen? Lips and fingernail turn gray to bluish color. Okay, lips and fingernail may turn gray to bluish in color. So as a result of the infection, the alveoli get filled with the fluid and to severe problem in respiration. So that is pneumonia. Okay, pneumonia. Next one, the viral disease. Viral disease. Next, viral disease. Common cold, viral disease. Then a pathogen yaare? Rhinovirus. Pathogen rhinovirus. Mode of transmission eppadi? Actually, this also droplet infection. Anyway, droplet resulting from cough or sneeze of an infected person are either inhaled directly or transmitted through contaminated objects, such as a contaminated object like a pen, book, cup, doorknob, computer, keyboard, or mouse, etc., and cause infection to a healthy person. Okay, infected part ange lungs infected no, that is nose. Infected part the nose and respiratory passage, but not affect the lungs. Affect பண்ணாது. Okay, symptoms சொல்லுங்க. Symptoms என்ன? Nasal congestion and discharge, sore throat, hoarseness, cough, headache, tiredness, and the symptoms, and which usually last for 3 to 7 days. Okay, so viral disease, common colds, common colds. Next one, the protozoal disease, protozoan disease. ഒന്ന് എന്നാ malaria protozoal disease, malaria caused by causative organs pathogen yaare protozoa plasmodium vivax, plasmodium malaria, and plasmodium falciparum. Malignant malaria is caused by yaare plasmodium falciparum. Malignant malaria caused by plasmodium falciparum. Okay. And mode of transmission actually carrier yaare oru vector edukkum. That means bite of female anopheles mosquito. Infected part when they enter into through bloodstream, that means RBC and liver, etc. RBC and liver. Okay. And symptoms when they chill fever, chill. Okay, the ruptured RBC associated with the releasing of a toxic substance, and a toxic substance, hemozoin toxic substance, which causes RBC RBC rupture பண்ணுவாங்க. This parasite enter into RBC rupture release a toxin substance, hemozoin, that causes chill and high fever recurring every 3 to 4 days. Every 3 to 4 days, recurring fever. Okay, வந்து போயிட்டே இருக்கும். Okay, recurring fever every 3 to 4 days. Okay, wow. So just we can go through the life cycle of this parasite. Okay, life cycle of parasite. Actually, you know that plasmodium causing that is malarial parasite plasmodium. Okay, vector வந்து female anopheles mosquito. For completing plasmodium life cycle, okay, life cycle of plasmodium, for completing 2 hosts தேவை இருக்கு. 2 host தேவை இருக்கு. யாரு 2 host? Who are the 2 hosts? One is that human host. Another is that mosquito host. 2 host தேவை இருக்கு. Okay, when a mosquito, anopheles mosquito bite a person, என்ன transfer பண்ணுவாங்க? Sporozoite. என்ன? Sporozoite enter into inject to human being. Okay, wow. That sporozoite or that parasite enter through blood. Through blood enter into liver. Enters into liver. Liver cell damage or rupture. Liver cell rupture and release these parasite. Okay, அங்க எப்படி multiply பண்ணுவாங்க liver cell? Asexually, the increase multiply their number asexually, and liver cell burst or rupture, and these parasite enter into an RBC. இங்கே RBC நோக்கி போயிடுவாங்க. இங்கே RBC, which enter into RBC. Okay, in RBC also they multiply sexually or asexually? Asexually. RBC also multiply asexually. Okay, RBC cell rupture and release a toxin substance. RBC வந்து ஒரு toxic substance produce பண்ணுங்க. என்ன அந்த toxic substance? Hemozoin. Nothing but hemozoin, which causes chill fever. Okay. Then this asexual method converted into sexual form. Sexual form. Enna sexual form? That means male gamete and a female gamete. Male gamete and a female gamete form like change பண்ணுவாங்க. Okay, so that stage என்ன சொல்றாங்க? Gametocytic stage. Okay, gametocytic stage. So இது வரைக்கும் human host. Then when a mosquito bite this person, infected person, what will happen? This gametocyte என்ன enter பண்ணுவாங்க? Gametocyte enter into mouth of the mosquito through mouth, which reaches to gut. That means intestine. Okay, stomach or intestine போவாங்க. Okay, so this male and female gamete. Okay, male and female gamete fusion happening in intestine or gut. Yeah, fertilization development take place in the mosquito intestine. Then what is forming? Sporozoite. It converted into sporozoite. Okay, so store in salivary glands. Sporozoite store in salivary glands. Okay, then when a mosquito bite a person, healthy person, sporozoite is injecting sporozoite. Okay, so for completing life cycle, two hosts தேவை இருக்கு. ஒன்னு யாரு? Human host. Second யாரு? That is mosquito host. Okay வா? Yeah. Next one there. Next protozoal disease. This also protozoan. Protozoan disease in amoebiasis or amoebic dysentery. Amoebiasis or amoebic dysentery சொல்றாங்க. Amoebic dysentery. Okay வா? Then causative organ pathogen யாரு? Endamoeba histolytica. Protozoan Endamoeba histolytica. Endamoeba histolytica is a pathogen. Then mode of transmission, that is housefly. Housefly acts as a mechanical carrier, so which contaminate food and water. Housefly with the fecal infected person, fecal matter. Okay, enter into food and water, so contaminate. So housefly act as a mechanical carrier and transmit this parasite from fecus of the infected person to food and food products, thereby contaminate them. Okay, and so drinking water and food contaminated by the fecal matter are the main source of the infection. என்ன part என்ன infected part வந்து large intestine. Okay, amoebic dysentery, amoebiasis which affect large intestine. Okay, symptoms என்ன? symptoms வந்து constipation, abdominal pain and cramp, pain இருக்கும். Okay, muscular pain and stool with excess mucus and blood clot. Okay வா? Amoebic dysentery or amoebiasis. Next one that is ascariasis. என்ன? Helminthus. You know that Ascalminthus, Platyhelminthus எல்லாமே படிச்சிருக்கு. Platyhelminthus flat worm, Ascalminthus round worm, circular in cross section. Okay, circular in cross section, Helminthus. You know, nematodes also comes under nematoda. Nemathelminthus, nowadays we can call it Ascalminthus. Okay, Ascalminthus, nematode. Okay, so Ascariasis, pathogen, Ascaris, roundworm, common roundworm, Ascaris. Okay, Ascariasis cause பண்ணுவாங்க. எப்படி? So from the infected person, fecal matter may contaminate, that enter into soil and also may contaminate vegetables, fruits, or water, etc. To a healthy person may occur this. Okay, so the eggs of parasite are excreted along with the fecus of the infected person, which contaminates soil, water, plants, etc. Okay, a healthy person acquire this infection through contaminated water, vegetables, food, etc. Infecting part எங்கே? small intestine, which affect small intestine. Symptoms என்ன? symptoms வந்து கொஞ்சம் stronger than amoebic dysentery, amoebiasis. Okay, little bit that somewhat complicated. And internal bleeding, muscular pain, fever, anemia, blockage of the intestinal passage. Anemia, bleeding எல்லாமே இருக்கும். Okay, internal bleeding இருக்கு, so anemia வருவாங்க. Okay, this parasite may attach the internal parts. That's the intestine. You see? Yeah. Next one, the elephantiasis or filariasis. That also helminthus. Next type of helminthus disease, elephantiasis or filariasis or elephant foot disease. யானைக்காலு disease. Elephant foot disease. Okay. என்ன? Pathogen யாரு? Pathogen வந்து Wuchereria bangrofti, Wuchereria malai or filarial worm. Mode of transmission எப்படி? Bite of female Culeus mosquito. Bite Okay, transmitted by the bite of female Culeus mosquito vector. Female Culeus mosquito vector. Female Culeus mosquito vector. Okay. And symptoms and this a parasite enter into lymphatic system on a lower limbs and genital, even genital organ also, that they enter and multiply. This parasite multiply, worms multiply and grows deformation, abnormally grow pannoge. Okay, chronic inflammation of the organ in which they live for many years, usually the lymphatic vessel and the lower limbs and also the genital organ are also often affected, resulting in gross deformity. Okay, gross deformation. Swelling or அந்த பாட்டு இந்த swell பண்ணி வருவாங்க. ஓகேவா? So this is about the elephantiasis, elephant foot disease. Next one, the diseases, ringworm. There's a fungal disease, fungal disease or fungus, ringworm infection, ringworm. Which is the parasite? Fungus, anyway, genera, comes under genera, microsporum, trichophyton and epidermophyton. Microsporum, genera microsporum, trichophyton and epidermophyton. So mode of transmission, actually this may present in soil, etc. that enter, that is generally occur from soil or and also okay, soil, and it enter by using and also using by towel, clothes, or even the comb of the infected individual. Infected part and skin, nail, and scalp, between groin region, toes. அதிலெல்லாமே அது லீவ் பண்ணுவாங்க. And symptoms என்ன? Dry scaly lesion, intense itching, எல்லாமே symptoms. Appearance of dry scaly lesion on various part of the body such as skin, nail, scalp. Okay, skin, nail, scalp, etc. And these lesions are accompanied by intense itching also. Okay, and this may increase their growth between the groin region and toes, etc. And also heat and moisture in the growth increase பண்ணுவாங்க. This pathogen growth increase பண்ணுவாங்க. Heat and moisture help this fungus to grow. Okay, and which make them thrive in skin fall such as those in the groin or between the toes. Okay, that's about the ringworm infection. Okay, pathogen yaade, microbes yaade. That is actually the fungus, genera microsporum, trichophyton and epidermophyton. Okay, so this only briefly about diseases. Very important one, that from the disease part only 2 questions asked last year NEET examination. Okay, so to go through that. Next one, the prevention and control. எப்படி இந்த disease prevent பண்ணுவாங்க? Prevention and control. Mainly you know that the diseases, one type of disease that are through contaminated food and water. So that's why hygiene. Okay, personal hygiene and public hygiene and hygiene in catering and food services, etc. Okay, drink pure water and clean water. Okay, and hygienic food, healthy foods. Okay, and some diseases like elephantiasis. Okay, and malaria. These all are transmitted by mosquito, vector-borne disease. And also dengue fever, chikungunya. இதெல்லாமே Aedes aegypti. The vector mosquito Aedes aegypti. Okay, that carry the viruses, which a type of virus. Dengue fever, chikungunya is a viral disease by these Aedes mosquitoes. Okay, so eradication of this mosquito vector. And also I told you that in contaminated food and water, some diseases like typhoid and amoebic dysentery, ascariasis, இதெல்லாமே எப்படி contaminated. Okay, through contaminated food and water. So that's why housefly are also a carrier or vector. So eradication of this vector or killing of vector, and also hygiene is very important. Catering services. Okay, and some diseases like infectious disease, like that is common cold, and pneumonia, etc. Avoid direct contacts. So that's prevention and control comes under. So maintain personal and public hygiene, keeping the body clean, consumption of clean drinking water, food, vegetable, fruit, etc. Prevention and control. Pinna, as I told you, proper disposal. Okay. Proper disposal of waste and excreta to prevent diseases like amoebic dysentery and typhoid and ascariasis, etc. Then period cleaning and disinfection of water reservoir, pools, cesspool, tank, etc. And avoid contact with infected person. There belonging to control airborne disease. Okay, that is common cold and pinana. That is, yeah, pneumonia, etc. And standard practice of hygiene in public catering, control, eliminate vectors, mosquito, killing of mosquito, eradication of vectors. Okay, and mainly diseases like malaria and filarias is transmitted through carrier are mosquito, insect vector, mosquito. The most important measure to control, eliminate the vector and their breeding place. Killing of mosquito, vector, breeding place. Okay, so those to control eliminate the vector and their breeding place. And by avoiding stagnation, enna cheyidannam, avoiding stagnation of water in and around residential area, regular cleaning of household coolers. Cleaning of household coolers. Next one, the use of mosquito net to eradicate, control mosquito nets. Important point. And also introducing fish like gambusia. Very important. Enna role gambusia? That's a larvivorous. That means that eat larva of mosquito. Mosquito larvivorous. In point that feed on mosquito larva. And another one, spraying insecticide. Okay, insecticide spray பண்ணுங்க. அப்ப என்ன செய்திடும்? Insect and the mosquito எல்லாமே dead ஆயிடும். Insecticide in ditches, drainages, and swamp, etc. Okay, va? Yeah. Then doors and windows should be provided with a wire mesh to prevent the entry of mosquito. Wire mesh. அப்ப என்ன mosquito enter பண்ணாது. Okay. So this is about the to how eradication of these vector like mosquito control of. Okay, and also I told you that mosquito causing different other disease like in that is dengue fever and chikungunya, dengue fever. Actually, dengue fever and chikungunya, that's a viral disease. Chikungunya virus, dengue fever, flavivirus and toga virus. Okay, that virus that is carried by carrier Aedes aegypti. That's very important. Vector-borne disease, that is Aedes mosquito. Aedes aegypti. That's come to a tiger species mosquito. Okay, so that also very important. Chikungunya and dengue fever, that also caused by this mosquito. Aedes mosquito. Okay, so importance of eradication of these vector-like mosquito. Control of vector-like mosquito. Is it? Yeah, that's about the prevention and the control. That comes under prevention and the control. Okay, yeah. And then immunity. And the immunity. What is immunity? The capacity of organism or individual to defense against diseases or pathogen. Okay, immunity. There are two types of immunity in our body. And two types. One is that innate immunity. Another is that acquired immunity. Innate immunity and the name inborn. Innate immunity, inborn immunity. At the time of birth we have. At the time of birth. At the time of birth we have innate immunity. Acquired immunity that is nothing but adaptive. Adaptive immunity. Adaptive immunity occurring after birth or we occur during life. During lifetime acquired immunity. Okay, innate immunity and acquired immunity. Innate immunity வந்து என்ன இருக்கு? Certain barriers. எப்படி நம்ம பாடியில் ஃபார்ம் பண்ணுவோங்க? Barriers இருக்கு. Innate immunity. So we can see that what are the different barriers in innate immunity. After that, we could discuss very briefly about acquired immunity. Okay. Innate immunity. இங்கே இந்த பிக்சர்ல காமிச்சிருக்கு என்ன இருக்கு? Some barriers we can see in innate immunity, such as skin act as a barrier, mucous membrane act as a barrier, and temperature and pH in acid pH எல்லாமே barrier. And also here you can see in blood cell, different type of blood cell, eosinophil, macrophages, mast cell, NK cell, natural killer cell, etc. barrier I act பண்ணுவாங்க. Okay, and this is acquired immunity, adaptive immunity, B cell, T cell எல்லாமே இருக்கு. Okay, so innate immunity. First one the innate immunity. Innate immunity என்ன இருக்கு? Barriers இருக்கு. Barriers. First physical barrier. Physical barrier யாருக்கு இருக்கு? Physical barrier. Firstly, skin வந்து physical barrier. Skin. ഓക്കെ സ്കിന്ന് ബാരിയർ മൈക്രോബ്സ് ഒന്നുമേ നമ്മുടെ ബോഡിയിലേക്ക് കയറാതെ സ്കിൻ ആക്ട് ആസ് എ ബാരിയർ. പിന്നെ നെക്സ്റ്റ് என்ன இருக்கு? மியூக்கஸ் கோட்டிங் எபித்தீலியம். எங்கே இருக்கு மியூக்கஸ் கோட்டிங்? ரெஸ்பிரேட்டரி ட்ராக், யூரோஜெனிட்டல் ட்ராக், கேஸ்ட்ரோஇன்டெஸ்டினல் ட்ராக், அங்கே எல்லாமே என்ன இருக்கு? மியூக்கஸ் கோட்டிங் இருக்கு. பேரியர். ஓகே, ரெஸ்பிரேட்டரி, கேஸ்ட்ரோஇன்டெஸ்டினல், யூரோஜெனிட்டல் ட்ராக், மியூக்கஸ் barriers. Then second type. Okay, so physical barrier. Next, physiological barrier. Second என்ன? Physiological. அதில் என்ன? Fluid இருக்கு. One is that on acid in stomach. Acid in stomach. என்ன acid இருக்கு stomachல? You know gastric acid. What is that gastric acid? HCl. Do you know pH of hydrochloric acid in our stomach? 1.8 pH இருக்கு. 1.8. Highly acidic. You know what is the function of this HCl? It has role in converting, which help for protein digestion, converting pepsinogen, inactive pepsinogen, pepsinogen into pepsin, which help for digestion of protein. Then what's another role? So highly acidic. So if any microbes enter with the food, what will happen? These kill these HCl neutralize or kill the microbs with the food. Okay, va? So microbes kill பண்ணுவாங்க. That is a function of an acid, gastric HCl. Then saliva in mouth, and tear. Okay, so tear from eye, saliva in the mouth and tear in eye, tear. அதில் என்ன இருக்கு? Lysozyme is an enzyme, so antibacterial action இருக்கு. Okay, this comes under that is a barrier, that is skin, mucous coating of different type of tracts, and physiological barrier, acid, saliva in the mouth and tear from eyes. Okay, next one, the cellular barrier. Which are the cellular barrier? Cells. WBC. Okay, WBC, you know, PMNL, polymorphonuclear leukocyte, natural killer cell, macrophages, monocytes. Okay, natural killer cell இதெல்லாமே வந்து barriers. Sorry, not barriers. Cellular barrier, cells. Cellular barrier. அதை என்ன செய்திரும்? Immunity provide பண்ணுவாங்க. Immunity. Okay, so certain type of leukocyte, WBC யாரு? PMNL neutrophil, polymorphonuclear leukocyte. Then monocyte, NK cell, natural killer cell, NK cell, macrophages in tissue. Macrophages. Actually, it is modified monocytes that are modified into macrophages, especially that are found in tissue. Okay, that means lens இருக்கு, alveolar macrophages. Okay, brain, that is a microglial cell, liver, Kupffer cell, ellame on the macrophages. Okay, macrophages. So macrophages can phagocyte and destroy microbes. What is a phagocyte? Phagocyte engulfing. Okay, which engulf phagocytosis in amoeba. Amoeba and the movement when the phagocytosis engulfing the microbes. Phagocytic cell. Okay, next one, the cytokine barrier. Cytokine barrier. And a cytokine barrier. When virus infected a cell, what will happen? They produce some protein, interferon. That is which protect further viral infection. Neighboring cell protect from further viral infection. That is called a interferon or cytokine barrier. Cytokine barrier. Virus infected cells secrete protein called a interferon. Interferon which protect non-infected cell from further viral infection. Okay, that is called a cytokine barrier. Cytokine barrier. അപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ എന്നാ ഡിസ്കസ് பண்ணியாச்சு, ஸ்டடி பண்ணியாச்சு. innate immunity படிச்சாச்சு, ஸ்டடி பண்ணியாச்சு. Next one, the acquired immunity. Innate immunity உங்களுக்கு புரியுமா? That is actually not pathogen specific. It is not pathogen specific. Not pathogen specific. Not pathogen specific. Innate immunity. Okay. But acquired immunity and acquired immunity pathogen specific. Okay, based on memory. Enna memory? Brain based memory, immune based memory. That is two type of cell are there, memory cell, which are that B lymphocyte and a T lymphocyte. B and T lymphocyte. Memory. Okay, acquired immunity, adaptive immunity occurring during lifetime. Occurring during lifetime. Adaptive immunity. Okay, adaptive immunity. And the immunity, for example, have you affected chickenpox? Chickenpox virus is a viral. That's a bacillus zoster virus. Okay, so chickenpox first time enna உங்கள பாடியில் ஒரு ரெஸ்பான்ஸ் ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க. தட் இஸ் கால்டு பிரைமரி ரெஸ்பான்ஸ். செகண்ட் டைம் உங்களோட லைஃப் டைமில் செகண்ட் டைமில் என்ன சிக்கன் பாக்ஸ் வராது. பின்ன உங்களுக்கு சிக்கன் பாக்ஸ் வராது. தட் மீன்ஸ் என்ன? பேஸ்ட் ஆன் மெமரி. பி செல் டி செல் என்ன ஆக்டிவ் ஆகிடும். Actual infection of the second time, if the same virus enter into your body and stronger response produce பண்ணுவாங்க. In your body, stronger response. That is called a secondary response or anamnestic response. Okay, based on the memory. B and T. So, second time, உங்களுக்கு chicken box வராது. Okay, so that is the principle. Anywhere, this characteristic of memory, that means when our body encounter a pathogen for the first time, when a pathogen vandirundha, it produce a response called enna solranga, primary response, low intensity. Chicken box first time enna உங்களுக்கு low intensity அது எஃபெக்ட் பண்ணுவாங்க. memory, that means ஒரு memory அங்கே form பண்ணுவாங்க. Okay, then second time, subsequent encounter of the same pathogen. Okay, for example, I told you chicken pox virus second time உங்கள பக்கத்தில் வந்தாச்சு. பக்கத்தில் இந்த ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாமே இருக்கு. அப்போ என்ன? உங்களோட பாடியிലേക്ക് ஏறாது. உங்களோட பாடி மீன்ஸ் ஒரு ஸ்ட்ராங்கர் ரெஸ்பான்ஸ் form பண்ணுவாங்க. In your body, stronger response produce. So that's mean elicit a highly intensified secondary or anamnestic response in your body. Okay, so acquired immunity and primary response. First time encounter. A pathogen enter into body, firstly primary response, low intensity produce பண்ணுவாங்க. Same pathogen second time உங்கள பாடியிലേക്ക് ஏறினால என்ன produce that is secondary response. Same pathogen if enter your body elicit highly intensified or secondary or என்ன சொல்றாங்க anamnestic response. Keep in mind that anamnestic response, stronger response. Okay, this is a state the fact that our body appears. So memory of the first encounter. Okay, memory of the first encounter. In the chickenpox infection, that's a natural. Artificial, vaccination. Do you get polio vaccine, corona vaccine, Covishield, Covaxin, எல்லாமே இருக்குல்ல. Anyway, in the case of this vaccination, actually, that based on the acquired immunity. immunity. Okay, va? Acquired immunity. So, in acquired immunity, two limbs are there. Two limbs are there in acquired immunity. என்ன ரெண்டு limbs ஒன்று humoral immunity. First வந்து humoral immunity. Second வந்து cell mediated immunity or CMI. Okay. என்ன humoral immunity என்ன humoral plasma, blood plasma. Okay. Plasma that is a fluid nature. Fluid nature, the B lymphocyte produce an army protein in response to pathogen in our blood to fight with them. என்ன army protein? என்ன சொல்றாங்க இந்த army protein? That is called army protein, nothing but antibody molecule. Antibody. அந்த army protein என்ன சொல்றாங்க? Antibody molecule. Army protein வந்து antibody. Or we can call it immunoglobulin. Immunoglobulin or IG, immunoglobulin. Okay, antibody molecule shown here. So, humoral immunity, humoral immune response, antibody mediated, or we can call it AMI, antibody mediated immunity. B lymphocyte என்ன ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க ஆன்டிபாடி ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க. இதில் என்ன பாட்டு இருக்கு ஆன்டிபாடி molecule shown here காமிச்சிருக்கு ஆன்டிபாடி அந்த பாட்டு இருக்கு இது 4 polypeptide chain இருக்கு. ஓகே 4 chain இருக்கு. That's why this refers H2L2. H2L2. That means 2 heavy chain இருக்கு 2 light chain H2L2. Antibody molecule refers H2L2. Okay. And it has a larger, heavy, 2 heavy chain, 2 lighter chain. And both this chain are connected by a disulfide bonds. Disulfide bonds. ஓகேவா C terminal N terminal end எல்லாமே இருக்கு. இங்கே வந்து antigen binding site இருக்கு. இங்கே வந்து antigen binding site. So important. This cartoon is of antibody is very important. Okay, and also there are different type of immunoglobulins such as IgG, IgA, IgM, IgE, IgD, etc. Okay, immunoglobulin, IgG, IgA, IgM, IgED எல்லாமே இருக்கு. Okay, so this is the antibody molecule or immunoglobulin. Okay, next one, the cell mediated immunity. Cell mediated immunity or CMI. Cell mediated immunity or CMI. என்ன CMI? அதில் என்ன இருக்கு? T lymphocyte that produced by particular cell. T lymphocyte. A cell in cell mediated immunity, a particular cell T lymphocyte. Okay. So cell mediated immunity responses responsible for the graft rejection. And a graft rejection during organ transplantation, liver transplantation, heart transplantation, kidney transplantation. And the time that transplanted individual or recipient sometimes maybe is rejected, the organ may be rejected. Okay, it acts as an antigen actually. Okay, immune response அதை ரிஜெக்ட் பண்ணிடுவாங்க. அந்த rejection is responsible by that is T lymphocyte or cell mediated immunity. Cell mediated immunity very important. Needed many time question வந்தாச்சு. Very, very important. Cell mediated immunity or T lymphocyte that is responsible during graft rejection. Different type of graft rejection எல்லாமே இருக்கு. Autograft rejection, allograft rejection, isograft rejection, xenograft. Okay. Just keep in mind that is only anyway graft rejection. In the cell mediated immunity, T lymphocyte is responsible. Okay, so that's why we discussed the two limbs, two part in that is acquired immunity. That's a humoral. Okay, there is nothing but one is that humoral immunity. Humoral immunity by antibody mediated immunity, and next is that cell mediated immunity, CMI. Okay, next one the acquired immunity. Acquired immunity, types of acquired immunity, two types இருக்கு. Active immunity and passive immunity. Active immunity and passive immunity. Active immunity வந்து ரெண்டு டைப் இருக்கு. Natural and artificial. Natural and artificial active immunity. Passive immunity வந்து என்ன natural and artificial இருக்கு. So anyway, acquired immunity, there are two types. ரெண்டு டைப் இருக்கு. Active and passive. So we can go through that. And active immunity என்ன? Active immunity. Active immunity by the infection, by the natural infection of any pathogen or microbes. Okay, or by vaccination. You may get polio vaccine, etc. Polio vaccine. Okay, so active immunity forming in your body. Or by chickenpox infection. Chickenpox, natural infection. Natural exposure of antigen means chickenpox. And the infection time ungala body memory cell B and T lymphocyte which help for the formation of active immunity. Okay, second time stronger response produced by chickenpox varad. Okay, so anyway, we can see when a host is exposed to antigen, which may be in the form of living or dead microbes, antigen or dead, living or dead microbes or other protein, antibodies are produced. Enna produce பண்ணுவாங்க? Antibodies are produced in the host organism. That is called active immunity. So natural, the host is exposed to antigen, okay, which may be in the form of living or dead microbes. Living or dead microbes. That means, okay, the active immunity is slow and take time to develop. Active immunity is slow process, and it takes time to develop or give full effective response. Okay, take time, slow process. Passive immunity, when ready-made antibodies or preformed antibodies are directly given to protect the body against foreign agent. That is passive immunity. Active immunity enna edavudhu antigen or foreign organism or antigen live or dead or pathogen live or dead form enter பண்ணி என்ன ஆயிடும் antibody produce பண்ணிடுவாங்க. It take time, slow process. But passive immunity என்ன directly antibody inject பண்ணுவாங்க. Ready-made antibodies are directly given or inject or given to the host. Okay வா? Yeah. For example, I told you that இதில் chickenpox infection. Chickenpox infection. So natural exposure to antigen, chickenpox infection, or by polio vaccine, polio. So natural and artificial. Chickenpox infection on the natural active immunity, polio vaccine and artificial active immunity. Here one then passive immunity example என்ன சொல்லிருக்கு, colostrum. First milk வந்து colostrum சொல்லுவாங்க, yellow colored milk. அதில் என்ன இருக்கு? Immunoglobulin, antibody A, IgA, immunoglobulin A, to protect the infant. Okay, so yellowish fluid colostrum secreted by the mother during the initial day of the lactation as abundant antibody IgA. Active immunity, passive immunity. Okay. Next one, the inactive immunity, injecting microbes deliberately during immunization or infection against gaining access into the body during natural infection induce active immunity. Natural infection. அது என்ன சொல்லிடுச்சு உங்களோட chickenpox infection. First example, chickenpox infection. chickenpox varicella zoster virus உங்களோட பாடியில் ஏறி இருந்தா என்ன primary response produce பண்ணுவாங்க. Then first response is low intensity. Then அது memory based on memory B and T lymphocyte memory cell ஆகி இருக்குவாங்க. Second time same virus, same chickenpox virus உங்களோட பாடியில் ஏரியாவில் இருந்தால் stronger response, highly intensified response, anonymous response produce பண்ணுவாங்க, chickenpox வராது. ஓகேவா? That is active immunity, natural infection. Then best example, chickenpox infection. Example. Okay, example. Then passive immunity. The fetus also receive some antibodies from the mother through the placenta during pregnancy. Placenta, IgG. Okay, IgA നമ്മൾ പഠിച്ചാச்சு, that is natural, and also this also IgG, that also natural. Passive immunity, natural. Okay, passive immunity, natural and artificial രണ്ടുമേ இருக்கு. This is an example for natural. Okay. Next one, vaccination and immunization. Vaccination actually we can call the active immunization program. I told you that vaccination. Okay, active immunity enna irukku? Active immunity, vaccination. vaccination. Vaccination means polio vaccine எல்லாமே வந்து active immunity. Example for active immunity. Anyway, next one, the vaccination and immunization. Any difference of vaccination and immunization? Actually, vaccination comes under active immunization program. This is called the passive immunization program. Okay, vaccination. Any vaccine? Actually, what is vaccine? A preparation of antigenic protein of pathogen or inactivated, weakened, or attenuated pathogen, that is vaccine, are introduced into the body. Vaccination, that is a vaccination. Polio vaccine, corona vaccine, எல்லாமே வந்து என்ன, attenuated or inactivated pathogen. Okay, vaccine. Then antibodies produced in the body against this antigen would neutralize the pathogen during actual infection. Okay, so polio vaccine or that is கொரோனா வேக்சின் எல்லாமே வந்து என்ன, ஆக்சுவல் இன்ஃபெக்ஷன் டைமில் என்ன, ஸ்ட்ராங்கர் ரெஸ்பான்ஸ் ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க. தென் அந்த டிசீஸ் வராது. தட் இஸ் பேஸ்ட் ஆன் தி வேக்சினேஷன். டிபிடி, டிப்தீரியா பெர்டோசிஸ் டெட்டனஸ் வேக்சின் இருக்கு. ஓகே, டிபிடி வேக்சின் எல்லாமே இதில் வரும். இம்யூனைசேஷன் என்ன? இம்யூனைசேஷன், யூ நோ தட் ப்ரீஃபார்ம்டு ஆன்டிபாடி ஆர் ஆன்டிடாக்சின் டைரக்ட்லி given injecting to the host, antibody injecting to quick response. In the case of snake bite and against TT, Clostridium tetanus, TT. Okay, Clostridium tetani bacterium, TT injection, and also anti-rabies vaccine. எல்லாமே வந்து immunization or passive passive immunization சொன்னாங்க. So என்ன சொல்லியிருக்கு? A person infected with some deadly microbes to which quick immune response is required, as in tetanus. Okay, as in tetanus, we need to directly inject preformed antibody. என்ன சொல்லியாச்சு? Preformed antibody, or we can call it antitoxin. என்ன antitoxin? A preparation containing antibody to the toxin is called, that is antitoxin. Antitoxin directly inject பண்ணுவாங்க for quick relief. It is quick process. Okay, quick process and short time only. But then vaccination, it take time but long-term effects. Okay, then vaccination and solution. Vaccines are generate memory B and T cell that recognize the pathogen based on memory B and T. Then immunization, I told you, in case of snake bite, the injection which is given to the patient containing preformed antibody against the snake venom. Okay, that's a passive immunization program. என்ன சொல்லாங்க? Passive immunization program. Against TT. Okay, எதுக்கு வருவாங்க? Against TT, tetanus, TT. Okay, and also snake bite. Okay, and also anti-rabies vaccine. Anti-rabies vaccine, snake bite, ASV, anti-snake venom, and also tetanus against infection against Clostridium tetani. Okay, that's TT gold. Okay, இதெல்லாமே வந்து immunization, என்ன, passive immunization program. So that means preformed antibodies or antitoxin directly given or injecting to the host for quick response, quick relief. Otherwise, that individual, that affected person may die. Okay, so that's immunization or passive immunization program. Okay, very good. I think very shortly you understood the difference between, that is vaccination and immunization, active immunity, passive immunity. Okay, next one, the allergy. An allergy, exaggerated response of immune system to certain allergen or antigen. Exaggerated hyperactivity. Okay, an allergen, the things which causes allergy, that is called allergen. Okay, the things which causes allergy, that is called allergen. சொன்னாங்க. Okay, so during allergy, which antibody immunoglobulin is released? IgE type. IgE produce பண்ணுவாங்க, release பண்ணுவாங்க, IgE. Okay, exaggerated response of our immune system, that's called allergy. And what are the allergen example? Mite, indus, pollen, animal dander, எல்லாமே வந்து example for allergen. Okay, allergen. Symptoms of allergy என்ன? symptoms of allergy. Symptoms of allergy வந்து sneezing and watery eyes, running nose, difficulty in breathing, etc. Difficulty in breathing, etc. Okay. Actually, mast cell இருந்து some substance, some chemicals release பண்ணுவாங்க during allergy. So, allergy is due to the release of chemical from mast cell in histamine, serotonin from the mast cell, histamine, serotonin to suppress, to reduce the symptoms of allergy. Doctor enna கொடுக்காங்க to some steroid or antihistamine, adrenaline drugs to suppress that. Okay, so symptoms of allergy. For the the use of drug like the antihistamine, adrenaline, steroid quickly reduce the symptoms of allergy. Okay, that's about the allergy. Which immunoglobulin is released during allergy time? IgE. Immunoglobulin E. Keep in mind that. Next one, the autoimmunity, autoimmune disorder. The this principle of the acquired immunity at the recognition capacity, whether self or non-self. Sometimes, some unknown reason, what will happen? Body attack our healthy parts. Okay, attack our immune system attack our body parts. That is called a autoimmune disorder. Autoimmunity disorder. Okay. என்ன எக்ஸாம்பிள் சொல்லியிருக்கு என்சிஆர்டியில் only rheumatoid arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis is given there. Okay. And also many other examples are there. Psoriasis, Hashimoto-thyroiditis, systemic lupus, Graves' disease, vitiligo. ஓகே. அந்த மாதிரி நிறைய வேறு எக்ஸாம்பிள் இருக்குது. ரொமேட்டோட் ஆர்த்ரைட்டிஸ் மட்டும் திஸ் சாப்டர் கிவன். எனிவே சோரியாசிஸ், ஹஷிமோட்டோ தைராய்டிட்டிஸ், அடிஷன் டிசீஸ், சிஸ்டமிக் லூப்பஸ் எரித்ரோமேட்டோசஸ் அண்ட் கிரேவ்ஸ் டிசீஸ், விட்டிலிகோ எல்லாமே வந்து some other example for autoimmunity disorder. Okay, so sometimes due to genetic and other unknown reason, the body attack cell. This result in a damaged body and called autoimmune diseases, which affect the rheumatoid arthritis actually, which affect the many people in our society as an autoimmune disorder. Okay, Hashimoto thyroiditis, psoriasis, and systemic lupus erythematosus, and Graves' disease, vitiligo எல்லாமே வந்து some other autoimmune disorder. Okay, நீத்தினு 2 time, and 2018 and 2024 and the question வந்தாச்சு, so it's very important, keep in mind that. And immune system. In the immune system, for providing immunity, we have lymphoid organ mainly. Lymphoid organ. Actually, what are the components of immune system? Immune system, that means cell, tissues, and lymphoid organ, antibodies, எல்லாமே இருக்கு. Lymphoid organ, tissue, cells, and soluble molecule like antibodies எல்லாமே இருக்கு. Lymphoid organs, the immune system play important role in an allergic reaction, autoimmune diseases, organ transplantation. இதுல எல்லாமே immune system வந்து role இருக்கு. So main components are lymphoid organ. Immune system composed of lymphoid organ. That is the main side for that is organ where origin and maturation and proliferation of lymphocyte occurs. Origin, maturation and proliferation of lymphocyte happening from lymphoid organ. രണ്ട് ടൈപ്പ് lymphoid organ ഇതൊക്കെ. யாருக்கு இருக்கு? Primary lymphoid organ and secondary lymphoid organ. Primary lymphoid organ, secondary lymphoid organ. Primary lymphoid organ என்ன நடக்குவாங்க? What is happening from primary lymphoid organ? Primary lymphoid organ where immature lymphocyte differentiate into antigen sensitive lymphocyte. That means B cell and T cell. Okay, immature lymphocyte and antigen sensitive lymphocyte ஐ convert பண்ணுவாங்க. So bone marrow and thymus are example for என்ன primary lymphoid organ. Okay, and bone marrow which help for the formation of all type of cell என்ன RBC, 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 platelets and also WBC, WBC. Okay, எல்லாமே வந்து bone marrow இருந்து form பண்ணுவாங்க. And both bone marrow and thymus, which provide microenvironment for the development and maturation of என்ன T lymphocyte. மறக்காதுங்க, T lymphocyte. யாரு? both bone marrow, both bone marrow and thymus, very important, which help for the both bone marrow and thymus provide micro environment for the development and maturation of T lymphocyte. നമ്മൾ ബോൺ മാരോ എന്നാ சொல்லியாச்சு, all type of blood cells which are producing from bone marrow. Anyway, both bone marrow and thymus which provide micro environment for the development and maturation of T lymphocyte. மறக்காதுங்க. ஓகேவா? யா. Then secondary lymphoid organ என்ன? Primary lymphoid organ இருந்து என்ன form பண்ணுவாங்க? That means B lymphocyte and T lymphocyte. B and T maturation நடக்குவாங்க. Origin and maturation. Then they move into secondary lymphoid organ. They move into secondary lymphoid organ. Actually, real interaction, proliferation happening from secondary lymphoid organ. Proliferation. Okay, very important. So, after maturation of lymphocyte, migrate into the secondary lymphoid organ. So it provides the site for interaction, antigen antibody reaction, interaction of lymphocyte with the antigen, which then proliferate to become effector cell. Antigen enna nadakuvanga? Proliferate. Antigen antibody reaction, proliferate effector cell. Okay va? யாருக்கு இருக்கு secondary lymphoid organ? This is antibody. Particular antigen. This type we can call the antigen antibody reaction, interaction, proliferation and effector. Secondary lymphoid organ. In secondary lymphoid organ. ഏതൊക്കെ ഇருக்கு secondary lymphoid organ? So spleen, secondary lymphoid organ, spleen, lymph node, tonsil, pairs patches of small intestine, appendix, mucosal associated lymphoid tissue, malt. Respiratory, digestive tract, urogenital tract, அங்கே எல்லாமே and the mucus coating இருக்கு. That is called the malt. That is 50%. 50% of the lymphoid tissue யார் இருக்கு? Mast இருக்கு. Mast அல்ல, malt. Mucosal associated lymphoid tissue. Around 50% of our lymphoid tissue is malt. malt எல்லாமே இருக்கு. இதுவே malt. Mucosal associated lymphoid tissue or mucosa associated lymphoid. 50%. Very important. நீட்டு முன்னாடி வந்தாச்சு. Okay. So next வந்து, as I told you, both bone marrow and thymus. It's a very important point. This also last year 2024 needed vandachi. And both bone marrow, true or false statement vandachi. Both bone marrow and thymus. Both bone marrow and the the bone marrow is the main lymphoid organ where all blood cell including lymphocyte are produced. Bone marrow. Then என்ன சொல்லிருக்கு? Both bone marrow and thymus provide microenvironment, special habitat for the development and maturation of T lymphocyte. For the development and maturation of T lymphocyte. மறக்காதுங்க. ஓகேவா? மறக்காதுங்க. Spleen என்ன? எங்கே இருக்கு spleen? Spleen is secondary lymphoid organ. Spleen வந்து secondary lymphoid organ. எங்கே இருக்கு spleen? Is large bean shaped organ near to stomach பக்கத்தில் இருக்கு. Okay, it mainly contain lymphocyte and phagocyte. Very important. Okay, spleen ல இருக்கு lymphocyte, phagocyte இருக்கு. You know that. உங்களை என்ன அந்த சாப்டர்ல body fluid படிச்சிருக்கு. After 120 days what will happen? RBC, Okay, 120 days, RBC move into spleen, and that's why RBC is called the graveyard of, spleen is called the graveyard of RBC. So, reservoir of RBC. Okay, large reservoir of erythrocyte. Spleen enna function? It a filter of the blood trapping blood-borne microorganisms. So, it's about the spleen. Okay, spleen. And lymph node, then pairs patches இதெல்லாமே microorganisms try பண்ணுவாங்க. Okay, next one we can discuss AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. AIDS, okay va? So, AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Actually, what is the meaning of syndrome? Syndrome means a group of symptoms. Group of symptoms. That is called a syndrome. Syndrome means group of symptoms. Group of symptoms. AIDS first reported in 1981, and the last 25 years also. It has spread all over the world, killing more than 25 million person. 25 million person. ஓகேவா? Yeah. And actually AIDS வந்து that is caused by a virus. என்ன virus? HIV. HIV. HIV full form என்ன? Human immunodeficiency virus. HIV. It is a retrovirus. Member group of virus called a retrovirus. Retrovirus, which have enveloped enclosing RNA genome. Very important. ഇതിന് മുன்னாടി വന്ന question. RNA. You know, this HIV, it is a retrovirus. Retrovirus comes under, it is a retrovirus, and it has two copies of ssRNA and two reverse transcriptase, two copies of reverse transcriptase. Okay, two copies of என்ன இருக்கு? Two copies of ssRNA and reverse transcriptase மறக்காதுங்க. So, HIV is a retrovirus. You study that that is a central dogma of molecular biology. என்ன central dogma? From DNA, mRNA, protein. Okay, but in HIV retrovirus, retroviral vector, what is happening from mRNA, DNA produce பண்ணுவாங்க. That is called a reverse transcription, or by the presence of reverse transcriptase. Okay, reverse transcriptase. Then transmission of HIV. Transmission of HIV generally occurs in very important, that sexual contact with the infected person. Sexual contact with the infected person by transfusion of contaminated blood and blood products, by sharing of infected needle, as in the case of intravenous drug abusers, and from infected mother to her child through placenta. Infected mother to child through placenta. Okay. Then who has high risk of getting AIDS? High risk. That also very important. High risk. People have high risk of getting AIDS. யாருக்கு இருக்கு? High risk யாருக்கு இருக்கு? ஒன்று என்ன? Individual who have multiple sexual partner. Second, drug addict who take drug intravenously. Okay. Pinna individual who require repeated blood transfusion. That means cancer patient or genetic disorder. Okay, hemophilia அந்த மாதிரி அதுல எல்லாமே வந்து repeated blood transfusion தேவை இருக்கு. Then children born to HIV infected mother. Born to HIV infected mother. And then AIDS test என்ன? HIV test. Okay, that is வந்து that is AIDS test வந்து ELISA என்ன ELISA? enzyme linked immunosorbent assay. And treatment of AIDS. Antiretroviral treatment இருக்கு. Antiretroviral drugs இருக்கு. But it cannot prevent death, but only partially effective. The only prolonging the life of the patient, but cannot prevent death. Okay, but cannot prevent death. என்ன? that is antiretroviral drug, the treatments, but cannot prevent that, but prolong life, that only. Okay, well, that's about the AIDS. And also, there's replication of retrovirus shown here. Very important. Keep in mind this replication of retrovirus. Okay. So you know that retrovirus, it has a RNA core and protein code. Virus infect normal cell. Here I shown, and this is a normal cell. Normal cell. Okay, normal cell. You know, macrophage. Anyway, this viral RNA introduced into normal cell. Viral DNA is produced by reverse transcriptase enzyme in enzyme reverse transcription, and the process in reverse transcription. Okay, then viral RNA and viral DNA is produced by reverse transcription. This viral DNA incorporate with the host genome. Host DNA is there. This is the cytoplasm and a nucleus எல்லாமே இருக்கும். And the nucleus DNA core incorporate பண்ணுவாங்க. Then what will happen? This macrophages act as a factory and produce new virus particle. This new virus particle can attack an helper T lymphocyte. So this infected person easily may die with less immunity, by infection of toxoplasma, parasite like toxoplasma, and also parasite like mycobacterium, bacteria like mycobacterium, toxoplasma, parasite like toxoplasma, and bacterium like mycobacterium and easily affect பண்ணுவாங்க. Immunity will be very less, and that person may die. So this condition, AIDS. Okay, this condition is called AIDS. Then what are the things which help prevention of AIDS? Okay, before that, there is always a time lag. That's also very important. Time lag between the infection and the appearance of AIDS. And the period may be vary from few months to many years, usually 5 to 10 years. So this also increase the dangerous effect of the spreading of AIDS. Okay, during this period, that person, may do intercourse with the other person or transfuse blood and can spread. Okay, so time lag. So 5 to 10 years இருக்கு. Okay. And prevention of AIDS. Many authority like National AIDS Control Organization, NACO, or NGOs, etc., are doing many things, many measures to reduce the spreading of AIDS. And now, what are some prevention method? Making blood from blood banks, that is safe from HIV. Second, ensuring use of disposable needle and syringe in public and private hospital and clinic. Third, free distribution of condom. Next, controlling drug abuse. Next, advocating safe sex and promoting regular checkup for HIV in susceptible population. These all are the method and to prevention of AIDS. Prevention of AIDS. Okay, prevention of AIDS. Next one, the cancer. Cancer is also another dangerous disease, that is cancer. In normal cell, we have a peculiarity. Okay, here shown that in picture. Normal cell enna show பண்ணுவாங்க. Normal cell. Here shown normal cell. Okay. Here you can see division of normal cell division. So this is called an contact inhibition in our body. Contact contact inhibition. Normal cell produce in our body contact inhibition. That means a regulatory mechanism, one cell connected to another cell, which inhibit the uncontrolled growth. That is contact inhibition. But cancerous cell cancerous cell, here you can see malignancy. So abnormal cells and irregularly grow punish. This is the cancerous cell. Okay, it forms tumor. Proliferating cell என்ன நம்ம சொல்றாங்க? Tumor. Okay, which form? Tumor. So contact inhibition, keep in mind that the normal cell. our normal body, normal cell, which shows contact inhibition. Cancer cell enna lack this contact inhibition. Lose the contact inhibition. Okay, in cancer cell, there is a breakdown of regulatory mechanism. There is a contact inhibition breakdown. I do. Normal cells of property called enna solange contact inhibition by virtue of which contact with the other cell inhibit uncontrolled growth. Keep in mind. Then cancer cell appear to have lost this property. Enna property loss ആയിടും contact inhibition loss ആയിടും. Okay, as a result, this cancer cell just continue to divide, giving rise to mass of cell enna solange tumor. There are two type of tumor, benign tumor and malignant tumor. രണ്ട് type tumor എടുക്ക്, benign tumor എടുക്ക് and malignant tumor. Benign tumor enna harmless, only cause little damage. Normally remain confined to their original location and do not spread to other parts of the body and cause little damage. Benign tumor enna spread பண்ணாது. That causes little damage, confined in a particular region only, not spreading benign tumor. But malignant tumor enna? Malignant tumors are two type, benign and malignant. Benign നമ്മൾ சொல்லியாச்சு എന്നാ confined region, ഒരു particular region തന്നെ இருக்கும், അത് spread பண்ணாது. But malignant tumor എന്നാ which shows neoplastic cell, which is also എന്നാ neoplastic cell and also which shows metastasis, spreading of cancer cell. Okay, spreading of cancer cell. That means cancer cell, malignant tumor and spreading from one confined region through blood and sloughed. Cells are sloughed, passes through blood and get lodged and next tumor. Okay, പുതുസാ tumor form பண்ணுவோங்க. That is called metastasis. Spreading of cancer is called metastasis. Okay, va? Yeah. So this cell grow very rapidly, invading and damaging the surrounding normal cell, the malignant tumor. Okay, mass of proliferating cell enna solanga neoplastic cell, neoplastic or tumor cell. Okay, malignant tumor, neoplastic cell or tumor cell solanga. Enna metastasis, very important, keep in mind that metastasis the cell actively divide and grow. They also starve their normal cell or competing for vital nutrients. Okay, in malignant tumor, cells sloughed from such tumor, from infected part, okay, cells detached பண்ணுவாங்க and reach the distant side through the blood, and wherever they get lodged in the body, they start new tumor there. That is called a metastasis. In this way, spreading of cancer cell, spreading is called metastasis. Okay, cell sloughed, detached. Okay, cell from such tumor then reach distance side through blood. Blood உள்ள வந்து வேற இடத்துல போய் அங்கே lodge பண்ணும். And wherever they get lodged, then in the body they start a new tumor here. That is called a metastasis. Then causes of cancer. Simply we can go to that causes of cancer. Physical, chemical and biological. Physical ஏது வருவாங்க? Physical வந்து ionizing radiation like X-ray and gamma rays. Physical. Non-ionizing radiation யாரு? UV rays. Okay, that causes a damage in DNA causing cancer. Neoplastic transformation of cancer. Chemical enna varunge? Tobacco smoke. Okay, aniline dye, caffeine, mustard gas, vinyl chloride. இதெல்லாமே வந்து cancer causing chemical then. Okay, chemical. Then biological reason. Enna biological? Some virus. Sometimes some virus or some bacteria, Helicobacter pylori, cancer cause பண்ணுவாங்க. Viral oncogen. Sometimes some virus causing viral oncogen. Cancer causing viral oncogen. Okay, viral oncogen, biological agent. And also C-onc, cellular oncogen or proto-oncogen. Sometimes normal cell and that form as cancerous cell. Okay, several gene called cancer causing gene enna oncogen. Cancer causing gene is called oncogen. C-onc or proto-oncogen have been identified normal cell, which when activated under certain condition could be leads to oncogenic transformation of cell. So biological agent which is viral oncogen, C-onc, cellular oncogen or proto-oncogen. Okay, biological reason for cancer. Then cancer detection and diagnosis. ഏതൊക്കെ വരുവാങ്ക? Biopsy and histopathological study. Biopsy and histopathological tissue, blood and bone marrow test. Technique like radiography. Okay, என்ன biopsy என்ன? Biopsy சொல்லுங்க. In biopsy, suspected part, a piece of suspected part, by surgery remove பண்ணுவாங்க. அது என்ன small pieces slice பண்ணுவாங்க by using stain observed under microscope. Okay, histopathological study is called histopathology. A pathologist can understand, can study the abnormality of the cell. Pathologist, that is called so biopsy, a piece of suspected tissue cut to the thin section is stained and examined under microscope. Histopathology. Okay, pathologist can study. Then radiography, techniques like radiography, X-ray and CT scan, computed tomography, MRI, magnetic resonance image. அது எதுக்கு யூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க? Magnetic are very useful to detect cancer of the internal organ. Okay. So MRI வந்து very important. இதுவே computed tomography, CT scan. CTல என்ன யூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க? Using X-ray generate 3D, three-dimensional images of the internal object. X-ray. Sorry, CT scan, computed tomography. அதிலும் X-ray யூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க. நெக்ஸ்ட் வந்து MRI, ஃபுல் ஃபார்ம் என்ன? மேக்னெட்டிக் ரெசனன்ஸ் இமேஜிங். அதில் என்ன யூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க? அயனைசிங் ரேடியேஷன், நான் அயனைசிங் ரேடியேஷன் அண்ட் ஹை மேக்னெட்டிக் ஃபீல்டு அண்ட் நான் அயனைசிங் ரேடியேஷன். ஓகே, என்ன ஃபங்க்ஷன்? எதுக்கு ஃபங்க்ஷன்? டு ஸ்டடி changes in living tissue. That means pathological and physiological changes in living tissue. MRI எதுக்கு யூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க? So can study physiological and pathological changes in living tissue. And also antibody used to test against cancer, specific cancer, monoclonal antibody எல்லாமே சொல்லுவாங்க. monoclonal antibody used this, and also application of molecular biology எல்லாமே வந்து that is technique to cancer detection technique. ஓகேவா? யா. தென் என்ன ட்ரீட்மெண்ட் என்ன இருக்கு? Treatments, that is surgery, treatment of cancer, surgery, radiation therapy, immunotherapy, chemotherapy, etc. Okay, actually cancer treatment with combination எல்லாமே சேர்த்து கொடுத்துடும். That means first surgery, then radiation கொடுத்துடும், chemotherapy, immunotherapy எல்லாமே கொடுத்துடும். So surgery, surgically and infected part remove பண்ணுவாங்க. For thyroid cancer, full thyroidectomy, parathyroid, thyroid எல்லாமே, colon cancer, intestine அந்த part கட் பண்ணிடும். ஓகே, breast cancer எல்லாமே surgically அந்த பார்ட் இன்ஃபெக்டட் பார்ட் ரிமூவ் பண்ணுவாங்க. சர்ஜரி, ரேடியேஷன் தெராப்பி, இம்யூனோதெராப்பி, கீமோதெராப்பி எல்லாமே கம்பைன். மெஜாரிட்டி ஓகே. அண்ட் ஆல்சோ radiation therapy, chemotherapy, some drugs which causing majority of drugs having side effect like hair loss, anemia, etc. Side effect. Then chemotherapy drugs are given. Okay, radiation therapy, tumor cell irradiate lethally, taking proper care of the normal tissue surrounding the tumor cell. Okay, and cancer infected cell மட்டும் என்ன irradiate பண்ணுவாங்க, which protect normal cell. That is radiation. Then several chemotherapeutic drugs kill cancer cell. Some they are specific particular tumor, and also I told you chemotherapy drugs எல்லாமே வந்து side effect இருக்கு. Okay, and biological response modifier, immunotherapy. Okay, most cancer cell treated with combination of surgery, radiation therapy and chemotherapy. Keep in mind that immunotherapy என்ன patient given substance called என்ன சொல்லாங்க, biological response modifier such as alpha interferon which activate their immune system, help in destroying tumor. So immunotherapy, biological response modifier. Keep in mind that biological response modifier என்ன சொல்லாங்க, alpha interferon. மறக்காதுங்க, மேட்சிங் டைப் கொஸ்டின் எல்லாமே வருவாங்க. ஓகேவா? யா. நெக்ஸ்ட் வந்து ட்ரக்ஸ் அண்ட் ஆல்கஹால் அப்யூஸ். 3 டைப் ட்ரக் மட்டும் இருக்கு உங்களுக்கு ஸ்டடி பண்ணுறதுக்கு. எதுக்கு? ஓபியோய்டு அண்ட் கெனாபினாய்ட்ஸ் அண்ட் கொக்கா ஆல்கலாய்ட்ஸ். 3 types. Very important, definite question. ஓகேவா? So drugs which commonly abuse opioid, cannabinoids and coca alkaloids. Majority of this obtained from flowering plants. Some are obtained from fungi. Fungal in the LSD. Lysergic acid diethylamide. That is produced from fungus, that is Clavisop purpureus. Fungus வந்து Clavisop purpureus. Okay, wow? Yeah. So quickly we can go through that 3 type of drugs and their action and receptors, nature of that. Okay. And opioid, poppy plants. Here short, opium, poppy plants, and its chemical structure is shown here. Very important. Okay, diagram-based question you can expect NEET. So opioid receptors present in CNS and a GI tract. CNS and a gastrointestinal tract. Okay. First one, the heroin. Heroin in a smack, commonly called as smack. It's chemically diacetyl morphine. Chemically and diacetyl morphine is a nature in a white, odorless, bitter, crystalline compounds. Crystalline compounds. Again, obtained acetylation of morphine. Obtained acetylation of morphine, which is extracted from latex of poppy plants. Paper from latex. 2018 question. Okay, latex of poppy plant. Okay. And எப்படி யூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க? Generally taken by snorting and injection. And what is the action? Heroin is a depressant and slow down body function. Next one, the cannabinoids. Cannabinoids. And the plant and plants. What is that plants? Cannabis sativa. Cannabis sativa. Cannabinoids. Okay. Receptors receptors present principally in the brain. Cannabinoids receptors. Okay. Then the plant, which part? Inflorescence, that is obtained from inflorescences of plant, cannabis sativa. Cannabis sativa. Okay. And which part? Inflorescence. Okay. Flower top, leaf, and resin of cannabis sativa that are produced. And various products. And various products such as various compound and that is marijuana, hashish, chara, ganja. Marijuana, hashish, and chara, ganja, etc. எப்படி யூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க? Generally taken by inhalation and oral ingestion. Okay. Other effect in cannabinoids effect on cardiovascular system of the body. And also it is abused by sports person. Cannabinoids are also being abused by sports person. Okay, cannabinoids leaf is shown here. Picture based question you can expect. Okay, next one, the coca alkaloids. Cocaine, plant and coca plant, the Erythroxylum coca. It is a plant, native in South America. South America. Okay. What is the main nature of this? They interfere with the neurotransmitter dopamine. Interfere with the neurotransmitter dopamine. Interfere with the neurotransmitter dopamine. Okay. Then எப்படி யூஸ் பண்ணுங்க cocaine commonly called coke or crack, usually snorted. Usually snorted. Coke or crack சொல்லுங்க. Usually snorted. Then effect is a potent stimulating action on CNS. எங்கே ஆக்ட் பண்ணுவாங்க? Central neural system. Okay. Central neural system, and producing a sense of euphoria and increased energy, pleasure and increasing energy. And excessive dosage and goes one it's called a hallucination. Excessive dosage causing hallucination. Okay, hallucination. And other well-known hallucinogen property are that is atropa belladonna, datura, etc. Other hallucinogenic property plants. Okay, one picture is shown here. Okay, keep in mind that. So coca alkaloids. And also other drugs are abused. Barbiturate, like amphetamine, benzodiazepine, and other drugs are normally abused. Barbiturate, amphetamine, benzodiazepine. Okay, they use help cope up with mental illness like depression, insomnia, and etc. That also are abused. And you know that morphine, painkiller. Okay, painkiller, sedative and painkiller are useful for a patient who have undergone surgery. Morphine, painkiller use பண்ணுவாங்க. எல்லாமே abuse பண்ணிடுவாங்க. Okay, then tobacco, smoking. Tobacco, அதில் என்ன இருக்கு? Nicotine. Okay, alkaloid nicotine இருக்கு, ரொம்ப dangerous. That goes in different type of cancer. That's a chemical substance including nicotine. Okay, nicotine, alkaloid என்ன? Nicotine. எப்படி யூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க? This that is tobacco, smoke, chewed or snuff. Okay, snuff. Then action. action of the smoking or tobacco. Okay, effect of tobacco or smoking. That is increase stimulate, nicotine stimulate adrenal glands, release adrenaline and noradrenaline and into blood circulation. Blood pressure increase பண்ணுவாங்க, which raise blood pressure, increase the heart rate increase பண்ணுவாங்க. And smoking also associated and increase the chance of lung cancer, urinary bladder cancer, throat cancer. Cancer, different type of cancer cause பண்ணுவாங்க. பின்ன என்ன causes bronchitis, emphysema, coronary heart diseases, gastric ulcer. Okay, emphysema, CAD, coronary artery diseases and gastric ulcer எல்லாமே cause பண்ணும். Problem of smoking. Okay. And the tobacco chewing associated with the risk of oral cavity, cancer of oral cavity, oral cancer. Okay, and also carbon monoxide poisoning. Carbon monoxide increase பண்ணுவாங்க content in blood and reduce the concentration of heme-bound oxygen. Hemoglobin കമ്മിയാകും. So oxygen availability less ആയിടും smoking person. And also this causes oxygen deficiency in body. Oxygen deficiency cause பண்ணுவாங்க. Next, adolescents, drug alcohol abuse. Adolescence, it is stress and storm period. It's a bridge between adulthood and childhood. So, many tension or stress or anxiety எல்லாமே வந்து அந்த adolescence period increase பண்ணிடுவாங்க. So, that's why some person may addicted or start to use the drugs or alcohol. Okay. So, curiosity. What are the reason? Curiosity, need for adventure, excitement, experimentation. Okay. So, what are that are the causes. That are the causes. என்ன சொல்லியாச்சு? Curiosity, due to curiosity or need for adventure, excitement or experimentation, these adolescent people may start to take this all. Okay. Next one, the addiction and dependence. Two term, very important term. Addiction is a psychological attachment, certain effect, or to drugs. Psychological attachment, certain effect, such as euphoria and temporary feeling of well-being associated with the drug or other alcohol, etc. Okay, that is called a addiction. And that person have to take more and more dose. The higher dose, drug, alcohol, leading to greater intake of addiction. Receptors may be the consequence, the receptors response only to higher dose. So, on the person and overdose எடுத்துட்டே இருக்கணும். Okay, yeah. Next, dependence, very important. Dependence and a tendency of body to manifest a characteristic unpleasant withdrawal syndrome. If that person quickly stopped, okay, stop drug or alcohol use. அப்போ என்ன which causes a withdrawal syndrome like anxiety, shakiness. கொடுத்திருக்கு anxiety, shakiness, nausea, sweating. Very important. அதிலே வந்து dependence சொல்றாங்க. அந்த person அந்த alcohol or drugs என்ன addict ஆயிடுச்சு. அது ஸ்டாப் பண்ணியால் என்ன withdrawal syndrome show பண்ணுவாங்க. That is called dependence. Very important. Dependence is the tendency of body to manifest a characteristic and unpleasant withdrawal syndrome if regular dose of drug or alcohol abruptly discontinued. And now withdrawal syndrome, anxiety, shakiness, nausea, sweating. Okay, yeah. Next, effect drug alcohol abuse. You know that excessive dose of drugs may be leads to a coma and death due to respiratory failure, heart failure, cerebral hemorrhage. Okay, reckless behavior, vandalism, violence எல்லாமே ஷோ பண்ணுவாங்க இந்த பர்சன். பின்ன என்ன combination of drug intake along with alcohol generally result overdose and even deaths that may leads to death. எல்லாமே general feature, alcohol and abuse. Anyway, next thing is very, very important. This is very important. என்ன சொல்லியாச்சு? Effect of anabolic steroid in female. Okay, anabolic steroid in female and male. Different drugs are abused. And masculinization, in female we are discussing. On the masculinization. Masculinization, muscle like male. Okay, masculinization. Increase aggressiveness, increase paridu. Mood swing, depression, abnormal menstrual cycle, excessive hair growth in face and body, enlargement of clitoris, deepening of voice. These all are the problem in female using anabolic steroid. Anabolic steroid. Okay, va? Yeah. Next one, in male, effect of anabolic steroid in male. എന്നാ male include acne, pimples എല്ലാം വരും. acne and increase aggressiveness, mood swing, depression, reduction of size of the testicle, decrease sperm production, necrospermia, sperm കമ്മിയായിടും, potential for kidney and liver dysfunction, liver and kidney easily dysfunction ആയിടും, breast enlargement, gynecomastia in male. Okay, gynecomastia, premature baldness, enlargement of prostate gland, and this effect may be permanent with the prolonged use. So, very important, definite question this year. That is, male and female. Anabolic steroid. And, continuous use of these anabolic steroid in male and female, different, adolescence period, what will happen, which act on, which causes the closure of the long bone. என்ன cause பண்ணும்? long bone close ஆகும். அப்போ என்ன? growth stunted ஆயிடும். Stunted growth and also acne. Very important. And in adolescence, male or female, several severe facial and body acne and premature closure of the growth center of the long bone may result in stunted growth. This is about the anabolic steroid in male and female. Okay, effects. Next one, the last one, is it's not that much important. Prevention and control. எப்படி prevent பண்ணுவாங்க? Prevention and control. ஒன்று என்ன? Avoid undue peer pressure. Group pressure, unwanted peer pressure, avoid பண்ணுவாங்க. You have your potentiality, capacity. Okay, nobody have to compel to do that. Okay, to how to do that? No. Anyway, avoid undue, unwanted peer pressure. Next, education and counseling. Education and counseling, seeking help from parent and peer. You can ask help from your parents or peer or your friends, etc. Okay, if anybody addicted drugs. Then looking for dangerous sign and seeking professional and medical help. So if needed, that person cannot control themselves, how to consult doctor, rehabilitation centers are there, so they give some medicine and also can slowly withdraw and stop that addiction. Okay, so these are the prevention and control. Anyway, this chapter is a big chapter. Last year 5 questions came from this chapter, so very important. Very shortly I go through these old points. Anyway, we have to study many things from this chapter as a regular stream. I hope you meet again. Okay, as regular. Bye bye. See you.